Hi, my name's Callum Gallagher. I'm a casual academic here at the University of Sydney with the discipline of art history, and I just wanted to share a bit about the new exhibition that I have developed with the Schaeffer Fine Arts Library. So the title of the exhibition is Pan-Nationalism, the studio, Jugend and Art Nouveau. The idea for the exhibition began when I was sort of looking through the Schaeffer Fine Arts Library's special collections and found that they had pretty much a complete run of the studio magazine from its beginning in 1893 up to it sort of being bought out and turned into the Studio International in the 1960s. And it's really one of the most important art journals. It was one of the first, and the first to have a sort of international scope, aiming to cover different visual cultures across the world and also to actually be read and bought by a viewership overseas. But because there is such an amalgamation of imagery throughout these journals, the biggest challenge became finding a common thread through which to sort of unify or curate a narrative. And so what I ended up settling on was the figure of Pan, so the Greek god, half man and half goat, who is the god of nature, fertility, and who is known for playing his pipes. This figure really crops up throughout a range of journals and imagery in the Art Nouveau period, so spanning roughly 1890 to 1914. And it's easy to overlook this figure and dismiss it as this sort of moment of a sort of late romanticism or something like that. But really, I believe this figure captures the zeitgeist of this moment, a moment in which there was a shift in technology, a moment in which there was a shift in terms of institutional religion across Europe, with the sort of breakup of theology in the wake of Darwinian evolutionary theory coming along. And so this figure of Pan represents a sort of uninstitutionalized spirituality. We can read it as a sort of evolutionary interest in the extension of the human into the boundaries of the animal. And we can also see in the figure of Pan a sort of pagan return away from the church. So as I was also developing the exhibition, I got the idea to try and look at the figure of Pan more broadly across multiple art journals. And that's when I actually found that in general storage over at Fisher Library, there were some editions of the sort of German equivalent to the studio magazine. So it's called Jugend, and it is the namesake for the German moniker for Art Nouveau, which is Jugendstil, meaning youth style. And by showing the figure of Pan across these two journals, it starts to show a more sort of transnational narrative and show how this figure was not only sort of meant to speak to one nation or one place, but was more of a space for projecting whatever a nation wanted to. And so it's quite interesting to see how in these German magazines the figure of Pan begins to move towards the directions of early 20th century Germany, in that there are clear anxieties around sort of social health and the social body, and this real sort of white anxiety over a healthy body.